My name is Ruben Dua from Dubb. I have Pelpina and I have Darius with me here. And we are very pleased to be giving this webinar because the time is so appropriate. Here we find ourselves with production companies in our pocket. And what I love about what Pelpina is going to guide us on, with an extensive background in broadcast and production and video recording, is that it's actually very easy to do. It's very easy to capture content, to share content, to drive engagement. The idea is to not get stuck into the process and really focus on the storytelling. So Pelpina, I wanted to thank you for co-hosting this webinar with us. Your content on LinkedIn has been amazing. I've been following you for some time now, and I've learned a lot about your process. I really appreciate how humble you are too, and how willing you are to be transparent and vulnerable in your documentation process throughout your entire journey. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I also love the effect that you have going on. I don't know if you have a DSLR. We'd love to learn all your tricks because I know you can get fancy and you can keep it simple, and that's one of your superpowers. A lot of people get stuck on the fancy part, right? So you, I think, do both.
Yes, absolutely. But you start simple. So that's where we'll start today.
There you go. Start with the story. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it off to Darius. Darius, please guide us on how Dubb as a company is empowering people to create videos, to share videos, to track videos. Can't wait to get into this.
Thank you so much, Ruben. Thanks for the intro. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm actually going to start inside of LinkedIn. Now, the reason I'm starting here is for a couple of things. One is Pelpina's got a great looking LinkedIn here. We were just talking about it. Thought I'd reference it. So we are going to be showing just a couple quick things, which is all of what Dubb can do. It is a video messaging platform, and there's a few key components there, which is creating the videos. That's what most of today's training is going to be about, is the creating the video part. I'm going to quickly just show it here, how Dubb supports with video creation, and then the rest of the training is going to be about that. But we're going to cover creation, and then what Dubb does next is the customization. This is a part a lot of people miss, where we actually need to package that video up so that it's really specifically designed to create those opportunities and conversions for our business. So that's the second piece I'm going to show you real quick. And then lastly, we're going to cover distribution, which is just sending those videos out, right? We packaged it up and now we have to send it and track it and see who's watching. So here it is. The first thing is the creation components. Chrome extension is one of these. This little button right here allows you to create any type of video right from your computer. You can do a screen recording, a webcam video, a webcam plus your screen, which I'm going to do here. Really simple, just hit the record button, and then it allows you to record, like I said, your screen or your webcam or any combination of. And then we can use little drawing tools, say, hey, Pelpina, so we had 60 mutual connections. I think it could be interesting for us to speak. Or if I wanted to resize this and say, hey, this part's really important. I want to show you something cool about your profile here, or whatever, right? I need to pause it and do a slideshow. Whatever I got to do, I can do so all with one tool. And all I have to do is press the check mark when it's done, and that video is ready to go. So that's the first piece, is the Chrome extension. Wherever you are, you can record any type of video. The second is the direct integration, where there's a little Dubb button right inside your favorite tools like LinkedIn, Gmail, Outlook, CRMs, where you can instantly access your library of videos, or you can record a brand new one inside of your favorite tool as well, just like that. Next piece, which is the Chrome extension and the direct integrations. Same button, same functionality inside of dozens of platforms. So Chrome extension, direct integration, and then finally, this is where a lot of discussion is going to be about today, is the mobile app. So full production studio right in your pocket. The Dubb mobile app actually has some really advanced stuff where you can splice clips together. You can add text and emojis and music, some really powerful stuff on the mobile app as well. So anywhere you are, with any device, your computer or your cell phone or a fancy camera, which we'll talk about a bit, you can take those videos and put them onto Dubb. And that moves me to the next piece, which is the customization. You guys saw here, I made this video for Pelpina in, a few seconds, right? 20 seconds. What Dubb does is it's automatically going to package that video up. Like I said, the customization step here, it's going to customize this video specific to what our business goals are. So in my case, I want to drive appointments in my calendar. So you can see here, Dubb built this full page that's all about putting appointments in my calendar. So the watermark, the background, the branding, the logos, all that's automatic. But the most important pieces here are the CTAs and the playlists. So again, CTAs are the call to action buttons that the whole reason we're doing a video is so that the person on the other end will take a very specific action. And that's where the buttons come into play. They can do anything you can think of. They can download attachments, fill out a form. They can even shoot a video of their own. They don't need to download or sign up or install anything. You can have them book a time in your calendar. You can have them make a phone call, a text message, Facebook Messenger conversation, like literally anything you can think of just about, we can set these buttons to do so, which is great because we all have different things we want our clients and customers to do. So that's the CTA piece. The other part here is the playlist. And this is huge for being a time saver. So you can see if I wanted to reach out to Pelpina and I had a nice little explainer video or something, I wanted to reach out to her, I can now leverage the best of both worlds, where I can get a nice short video where I'm saying, hey, Pelpina, I wanted to reach out to you with something very specific. Let me know what you think. And at the end of it, it goes into that next video, where this one happens to be a really awesomely produced explainer video. It's got graphics and animations and all this really good stuff. And like I said, now I'm getting the best of both these, where I'm personalizing the video, but I'm also getting the benefit of a pre-recorded, highly produced video using the playlist
And I think for the folks that enjoy using YouTube, they can use the YouTube integration, where you can actually have one of those playlist videos, or any video for that matter, on Dubb be imported from YouTube, so that you generate the number of views to the YouTube video.
Exactly. So that was one thing I didn't touch on, was you can also take videos from YouTube. I mentioned recording parts, right? Using cell phone, mobile app, Chrome extension, but you can also take any video from YouTube as well and upload it directly to Dubb, and then it'll go in the playlist or as a solid single video, however you want. So that's another use case for the playlist. And just like YouTube, when they suggest something at the end of the video, it's like that, except for it plays automatically, kind of like if they were edited together. All right, so this is the customization of the videos, and this is basically the concept, is customizing every part of your video message so that it can really drive home those actions. And Dubb makes this as easy as possible using presets, or a template, if you will. So you saw, I spent 20 seconds making this video, and Dubb added all those things automatically as part of my template here. So if I switch the template, it changes everything about the video page. So this way we have different use cases, different opportunities, like say if I'm prospecting somebody, or let's say I want to drive registrants to a webinar like we did this time, right? We can do that with a template and instantly customize that video message. All right, so we created the video, we uploaded it from YouTube, or we recorded it, and now Dubb helped us package this video up with everything we could need for our business goals. Now we're ready to distribute it. Last piece here. So first option is copy and paste, universal functionality here. So any platform you can think of, any text message, any social media, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp, Skype, you name it, literally universal functionality here. Any social media, email, SMS platform, wherever you're sending messages to your customers, you can use this button to send videos through that same channel. That's the first option, is universal copy and paste. The other one, which I kind of touched on briefly, is the direct integrations with Gmail, Outlook, LinkedIn, dozens of these platforms. Here's that video I made for Pelpina, and it's ready to go immediately. So that's the second piece, is the direct integration. The last part here is Dubb's bulk sending features. So Dubb actually allows you to connect your own email or text message provider and send out video emails or video messages in bulk. So here's an example of one we sent. Many of you will probably recognize this because you got this email. 30,000 plus emails sent out through Dubb, and we can see specifically who watched it, what percentage they watched, which buttons they clicked, and more. Now this activity reporting happens for any video sent through Dubb, through any message, like social media, text message, all that stuff. All that gets tracked. So that is the bulk sending features, video, email, or video text messages. And then the last piece here is automation, or drip sequences, or a series of emails or text messages that go out automatically. This one's an example of a text message sequence we have, sends out a series of text messages. This one's an example of an email sequence we have. And many of you might actually start seeing these emails. If you recently signed up, you will get this workflow and you'll start seeing these emails here. So this is a real live workflow built inside of Dubb for Dubb audience. So that's the last piece there, is automated sending. So that is this super fast demonstration here, guys. There's so much more to it, but I want to focus on today's training, which is the actual recording part. But all those pieces there are needed, that when we cover today's training, you guys see how to make an awesome video. You'll now know how to package it up and distribute it just as effectively, so that we're firing on all cylinders. So we will get to some things. I see actually a question in the chat. Please put all the questions into the Q&A. It looks like we've got all chats and no Q&A. Please, guys, if you want to ask the questions into the Q&A, that's going to help us tremendously. I will go back into the chat, but at this point, I'm going to pass it over to Pelpina, and she's going to take the floor. So here it is. Take it away, Pelpina.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Darius and Ruben. And I loved seeing what you can do with Dubb, because I've said this for, I think, several years now. When it comes to video, I think especially this year, we'll see a lot more one-to-one, one-on-one video messages. So video on LinkedIn, for example, in your direct inbox, or video in email inbox, because it's so personal. And what I would love to talk to you about today and show you, if you have any questions, as they said, please put it in the Q&A so I can answer any of your questions. But I would love to show you how to go about that. And first, we'll dive into creating videos in a much more simple way. And then later we can dive more into, well, what if you've already created some videos? What are other things that you can do to make the videos look even more professional, or to save time on creating videos, for example? All right, so let's dive into this. First of all, I am very curious. So I'm checking the chat, and I see that you're from all different places. So that is really good to see. And I would love to also hear from you what your experience is with video. So do you create videos right now? Have you created videos? Do you create videos often? Is this something that you're thinking about and have never really done before? I would just love to see where you are at. So feel free to type that in the chat so I can kind of see, and we can kind of get to know each other a little bit. All right, so a couple of tips when you get started. The main tip I would like to give you is, before you do anything else, before you grab your phone, before you grab your camera, you need a plan. That's step one. Okay, so if you want to save time on creating videos, the first thing you need is a good video plan. And that doesn't have to be super difficult. It doesn't have to cost you a lot of time. The main thing is you need a good plan. So here are the 3 things you'll need. So maybe you need to grab pen and paper to write this down, because if you're starting with videos, and I see a lot of comments here. So I see a bunch of you have created videos, and some people haven't created videos yet. So that is good to see that it's a mix. Okay, so the 3 things that you need to think about before you start creating videos: people, platform, purpose. People is your ideal viewer. Who are you trying to reach? What is going on in their world? What are they thinking about? What are their questions? What are themes happening in their life or about to happen? So maybe there's questions that you get often. Is there something, maybe you can create videos about those questions. So that's the first P, people. The second P is platform. If you know who your people, your viewers are, you probably know where you can reach them, is the platform. So depending on the first 2 Ps, you can decide on the format. So are you going to film horizontally or vertically? Are you going to caption your video? So your viewer and the platform should really help you decide those very practical things. And the third P is purpose. What is the goal? What would you like your viewer, your ideal viewer, to do or think or feel when they watch your videos? Really important to think these things through. Then you create a simple video plan around this. So you think of the start of the video, very important, the first couple of seconds. You think of the middle part of the video, try to divide it up in separate parts so you don't have to do everything at once. And then, of course, think of an end and a call to action. So what do you want the viewer to do? Should they go somewhere? Can they click somewhere? Tell them in the video and ask them to do so. So this is your video plan. If you think of the 3 Ps and you create a little plan, it might take you maybe 5 or 10 minutes, maybe a little longer if it's a bit more complicated video, of course. But if it's a very simple first vlog that you're creating, it should not take you that long. And the great thing is it's actually going to save you a lot of time down the road, because then if you have a plan, filming will go a lot faster. And because filming goes faster, editing will go a lot faster too. All right, so let's see. There's a bunch of people joining in the chat saying hi from all around the world. So that is really good to see. And people explaining their experience. All right, so let's move on. So once you have created a plan, that's step 1, right? So that's how you're going to save a lot of time. Step 1, create a plan, okay? Step 2 is filming. So I'm going to divide the filming part up in 2. First, you probably want to know how to film a person. And secondly, we're going to talk about filming other things, maybe products or maybe the location you're at. So we'll divide those 2 up. Okay, so let's first talk about filming a person. Do you ever talk to a camera? Are you ever in front of a camera? Let me know in the chat. Or do you interview people? Have you ever interviewed people? Let me know in the chat. This is something most people don't really like, talking to that camera lens. It's very unnatural, right? And some people will say things like, well, you're a natural in front of a camera. Yes to both. Yes, I interview people. Nice. Well, some people say that I'm a natural in front of a camera, which is not true. So it's totally, you know, it might look like it. And yes, I'm comfortable right now. But it took me quite some time and some really nice people around me to get the courage to do this. And also it took me a lot of mistakes. So you have to sometimes make mistakes, do it, make mistakes, and then realize that, hey, I'm still alive and I can keep doing this. All right, so Keith says it feels weird. And yes, that's something that I think a lot of us think, right? When you're in front of a camera, it feels very unnatural. So I'm gonna give you a few tips before we move on to filming products or filming backgrounds or the location you're at, filming a person. A few tips for being.
I have a quick question. Sorry to interrupt you.
Of course, no, please.
One of the things that I think we'd all love to learn from you is how you actually turn your bloopers, your mistakes, your flubs into some of your most entertaining and frankly educational content. Like how do you do that? Because I think what that does is that allows us to take discomfort and turn it into an opportunity, which is the ultimate dream. Otherwise, we're going to have 1,000 videos on our phone that have never seen the light of day.
Yes, and I've been there and done that. So I love that question. Thank you, Ruben. Yes, okay. So when I first started creating videos on LinkedIn, this is probably 3-4 years ago, I would put videos on LinkedIn maybe every 2 months or so. Why? Because my videos had to be perfect. So they had to be perfect in every way. So my hair, but you know, also the editing, everything just had to be totally perfect. And the moment I let that go, everything changed. Everything changed. And so that's why I love this question, because if you can embrace those mistakes, or how many times you say or the fact that the video isn't perfect, if you can embrace that, and pretty much you just embrace yourself and are yourself in front of a camera. So if you have a blooper every once in a while and you just continue with the video, people love that. They absolutely love it because it makes you more human. It makes it more real. And that's one of the powers, I think, of video. A huge power is that it can really give you a sense of connection, personal connection. And if you show a little bit of yourself, even, you know, especially the bloopers, especially the parts that you might want to cut out. I have an online course, and in one of my videos, I start the video and then I realize, oh, this isn't good. And then I start over, but I kept that part in it. And I received so many comments on that because people love that I just kept that in there. Because it makes it more human, more relatable. So yes, I would say yes to bloopers and keeping the real stuff in there. Of course, I know we're all here with a goal, and you're not here to just make funny videos. So yes, of course, there needs to be a clear goal and a clear call to action, and you need to have the right tone of voice. But then as well, you're human. So try to be the same person who you are, you know, when you're talking to someone in a meeting, face to face. Try to be the same person online, which I know can be pretty difficult to do. But yes, okay, let's see. You just be you. Yes, that is exactly what you should do. All right. So the first part is just be yourself. The second part is, how do you film a person? All right. So I want you to all, if you can, grab your phone. I hope you have your phone somewhere around you. I'm sure you do. Let me know what phone you have. And I don't want to start a battle between what phone is best, okay? Because I don't really believe in this. You know, okay, let me say this. I filmed with my iPhone 4 many years ago for a national news show in the United States. Okay, I started in television, in journalism, worked at CW in Dallas, and eventually for a national morning news show, was on TV live several times a day. That's how I learned to do what I do. Okay, let's see what phones we have. iPhone, Samsung, iPhone, it's everything. Samsung, iPhone 4. Sandra still has her iPhone 4. Go, Sandra. I love it. My mom still has one too. Like those things, I just don't think they die. The iPhone, they just keep on living. Okay. Flip phone, love it. All right, so lots of different phones in here today, and I love that. So as I mentioned, I had an iPhone 4 when I was filming for a national morning show, and no one ever noticed this. I did this because I was filming a segment with my, at the time, 2-year-old son, who wouldn't sit still if I had my big camera on a tripod. But if I just had my phone, he didn't care. So that's when I started filming with my phone. And I realized that there are a few things you need if you want to film well. And yes, of course, certain phones have better cameras and they have more pixels, but it's really not about the pixels, as I mentioned earlier. It's not about the pixels. It's more about your personality. But a few things you need. Okay, so let's grab your phone and let's put it in selfie mode, okay? So just grab your phone, just play along with me. Put it in regular camera app. Nothing fancy here. And let's see some basic things you need to check before you start filming. And this, you know, is for when you're filming with your phone, but also when you're filming with a webcam, when you have Zoom meetings, also when you have nice, more expensive cameras. These are basic checks, okay? The first check is audio. So you first want to make sure that the audio is okay. Now let's do a quick audio check together. I know we have people from all over the world here today, which I love. So that also means that we are all in different time zones. Okay, so I am in the Netherlands, and I actually saw a few people from the Netherlands, so go, yay, yay, Dutch people. So let's see what we all hear. Let's do a quick audio check together. I'm very curious. An audio check is really just listening to your surroundings, being aware of what it sounds like, and especially being aware of what your voice or the person you're interviewing, what their voice sounds like. So we'll do a quick little audio check here together. I'll be silent for 5 or 7 seconds here in a little bit, and I'll ask you, what do you hear? So what are some of the sounds around you? Just listen, okay? I'll be quiet for 5 seconds. So let's just listen. Yes, you can type it in the chat, everything that you hear. Space heater, air noise, says Bruce. Kids making noise, heavy rain, my kids, my stomach, Joanne. I hear the police at my door, Michael. Radiator bubbles. All right, so there's kids in the background. Lots of different sounds, right? Well, there's certain sounds that, you know, you can turn off. Your kids, unfortunately, you can't. I don't know what it's like where you are right now. I'm in the Netherlands, as I said, we're in our second lockdown, and we've been with our children, homeschooling them for several weeks. So they're always here. You know, it's really difficult to make videos because you can't turn them off. So yes, there's certain things that you can control. You can close the door, close the window. You can listen to your surroundings. You can check and see. So this, what you see behind me, is a sound panel. It's a very cheap sound panel, so you can get these online and pay several thousands. I've seen them for really expensive, from a couple of hundred to several $1,000s. These sound panels on your wall, and pretty much what they do is they absorb the sound. So instead of the sound just bouncing off the walls everywhere, this absorbs the sound. And so this is what we made. My husband actually made it himself using just some fabric from a tiny little fabric store down the road, and it probably costs, I don't know, 20 or 30 euros each. But these little things, that's something you can do as well. The easiest way, I've done this many, many years, is just putting down pillows and blankets right in front of you, okay? So listen to your voice, listen to your surroundings, and see, is there anything I can do to make the audio, to make the sound better? And maybe if there's a lot of sound that's bouncing off the wall, you can put down blankets or put some pillows right in front of you. I sometimes even record a voiceover with a blanket over my head. You can even record a voiceover with your nice little headset, for example. Plug it in your phone, go to your bed, put a blanket over your head, and record a voiceover. Try it. It sounds professional. Gets a little hot, but it works. All right. So that's step one, is listening to your surroundings. Of course, there's also things you can do to make the audio better. So one thing is, of course, to get a microphone. So I don't know if it will actually show you. This is a Rode SmartLav Plus. Tiny little microphone, clip-on microphone that you can just plug into your phone, and it simply works. Of course, there are also wireless microphones. I'm not sponsored by anyone, just so you know. I test a lot of different microphones, and I show you which ones I like because they work. Okay, so these are wireless little microphones that you clip on yourself or the person you're interviewing, and you hook one up to your phone. So one is a sender, one is a receiver. One also has a microphone as well. Which one is it? This one. So this one is also the little microphone. And these little things work great. These are the Rode Wireless Go. Now, if you don't have a microphone, don't worry. As I mentioned, you can probably do a lot in the room you're in just by listening, putting down blankets, closing doors, closing windows, things like that. Okay, so that's check one, audio check. All right, are you ready to do another check together? Let's do a light check. Okay, so that's step two, light check. So here we go. Grab your phone and put it right in front of you. So put it in selfie mode. And I know we're all in different rooms right now. You know, maybe you're at the office, maybe you are in a home office and your living room, wherever you are. But let's see what this looks like. Okay, so let's just put your phone right in front of you, put it in selfie mode. And all I want you to do is move around like this and see what a difference it makes when you just turn around. See, so probably when you face a window, when you face the light, it looks a lot better. And the best light is, of course, daylight. So what you want to do is always try to face the light if possible. here's the cheapest setup ever. Okay, if you don't have anything, you might have duct tape. If you have duct tape, it's really all you need. Go to a window, good light, put your phone on the window, duct tape it to the window. Solves a lot of problems. First of all, your hands are free, which is great. Hands are free. So you don't have to hold your phone. Second thing is you have natural light. So the light is, is perfect. And your phone will be, or your camera lens will be at eye level if you do it the right way. So you really want the camera lens to be at eye level. By the way, you really want to be looking into the camera lens, right? So don't look at yourself, look into the camera lens, because otherwise you'll be looking past the viewer. You're not making any eye contact. All right, so audio, light, and then there's the camera. Oh, by the way, yes, let me show you. There's little things that you can do, like this little tripod that will make your life a lot easier. There are a ton of different tripods out there, of course. I prefer tripods that are super light and small, like this one. So this becomes this tiny. This is the Benro Bk10, again, not sponsored, just really like this product. And it has 3 little legs. You can put it on your desk, for example, or any table. And then you put your phone in here. And there's, you put your phone in here, and you can film vertically. And you can film horizontally, like this. And it just slides out like that. So it becomes pretty tall. So I definitely recommend something like this, or duct tape, or maybe if you have a regular tripod, yes, use a regular tripod. But what you want is the phone to be on eye level of the person you're filming. Make sure that they're not looking down or looking up, but film at eye level. And you probably want to be a little bit closer than you think you should be. So most people, when they start filming, they are about this far away from the camera. A lot of headroom, room on the sides. What you probably want to do is use the rule of thirds. Have you heard of the rule of thirds? Let me know. Leave a comment in the chat if you have used the rule of thirds before. You can put on the grid. Oh, there you go. Yes, yes, no, tell us. No, yes, never used. Okay. So I live by the rule of third. Yes. Okay. So what it is you can actually turn the grid on in your phone. If you go to the settings or go to your camera settings, and it's those little lines that you've probably seen them before. It's a simple rule. You don't want to be right in the middle, but on one of the vertical lines on the rule of third. And what happens then is you have background, so you as a viewer see a bit more of the background. Plus, if you're editing this video, you have a lot of space here to add text or graphics or call to action buttons, whatever you want to add, you can put that here. It's a basic rule, but if you haven't heard of it, look it up, because it's going to change your life. And I'm not saying you should use it every time, all the time, of course not. But it's a nice basic rule. All right, so audio, a light, and then the camera. Those are the 3 checks. But we haven't really talked about how to be more natural. If you have any questions, just leave it in the Q&A, and I can answer those questions for you as well, because I would love to hear if you have any questions about interviewing or questions about talking to the camera in a more natural way. Just let me know. All right, so audio, light, camera check. If you want, I actually have a checklist that I can send to you through Dubb, of course. So if you would like to have a little checklist, just let me know. All right, audio,
we can include this with the replay we'll send out. We'll go ahead and include
yes.
This. Yeah.
Perfect. It's just a nice little printable thing that you can maybe put right next to your phone, especially if you're filming the first or maybe second or third time. It's nice because, everything I talk about today, it's not rocket science. But if you know these basic checks, if you forget one of these, so if you forget to do a quick audio check, or if you forget to check the light, it can really mess up your video so bad that you have to redo it. So, in the first couple of videos, make sure that you have a checklist or bring along a checklist. Okay, so let me see. Can I already go to the, Q&A? No, right? All right, I guess I should just leave the Q&A questions for later. Okay, so we talked about the different checks: audio, light, and camera. And yes, I just saw a comment from Jay. I can definitely list the different items I have as well when it comes to lights, microphones. I haven't really talked about a more advanced, things I'm working with right now, for example. So the camera I'm working with right now and the lights that I'm using right now, which I can also do here in a little bit. But yes, I also have a PDF with everything I personally love, I use every day, so I can include that as well. All right, so let's continue on to filming with your phone when you have maybe a product or maybe a location that you just really want to show. Okay, so I want to ask all of you to grab something from your desk or wherever you are, just grab something around you, an object, maybe it's a pen or a book or a glass of water, whatever it is, just grab something. And what we'll practice here is to see if we can create creative shots with just that object. Because if we can do it with a pen or a glass of water, then I'm sure you can make creative shots wherever you are. Okay, so let's give that a try. So say I would like to, okay, what do I have here? Let's see, I have a pen, all right? I have a pen. What can I do with a pen? What kind of shots could I say? I'm making a video about this pen. Leave a comment in the chat. What kind of shots could I make to make this more creative? Of course, the most basic thing I can do is just put the pen on a table and film it like this, right? That's the most basic thing you can do. Very basic, but yeah, that's one way of filming a pen. How else could I film this pen in a more creative way? Now let's talk a bit about the power of video, because what makes video different from text or a picture? First of all, video moves. So if you're filming anything, you want to film something that moves, okay? Write that down. Try to film something that moves. Action. So we want to see action. And I saw a comment from Ryan saying, show you writing with it. Perfect. So you always think, okay, what can I do? What can I show? And this is something I'm hoping that you can take along from this workshop today. Whatever you do, whatever business you have, whatever type of video you're trying to create, try to make it visual. Video, literally, the word video means I see. So when you look it up, it's Latin, go to Wikipedia. Video means I see, which makes sense, right? It's visual, sure. But the funny thing is we sometimes forget this. So we often just have talking heads. You know, it's just a person, a head talking, but we're not really seeing what the head is talking about. One of the things I learned very early on while I was studying at the University of North Texas, one of my professors would always say, and I still talk about this every day, say dog, see dog. Whenever you talk about a dog, show a dog. Whenever you talk about a pen, show that pen. Whenever you talk about being passionate about something, show your passion. So show people what you're talking about. Okay, so let's continue on talking about this pen. So yes, we can write with it. Something else that makes video different from, for example, text or pictures is that it has audio as well. So the second thing I would like to ask you is to think, how can I incorporate audio in my video? So what are things around me that, I don't know, can make a sound or make a noise? And a pen, of course, doesn't, you know, the only thing you could do with a pen is maybe this, or be really close to it as you're writing. Maybe you can hear it a little bit. But there's a lot of things around you that maybe you could use audio with. And these are the types of things, like very subtle little things that can really make your video pop, because you're really getting the vibe of the room, or the product or the space you're in, especially by using the sound, and especially by using the different visuals. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to show you about this pen. So with the object you have, you can grab it again if you want, and you can take pictures or videos, and you know, and then you can post them on LinkedIn, telling everyone that you had to take silly pictures of a pen or a book doing this webinar. But yeah, so one thing I really want you to remember is, if you want to make your video interesting, don't just film from one angle or one distance. And this especially is true when you're filming products, or when you're trying to film a location, a room. So instead of just filming from one distance and one angle, try to constantly move the distance and the angle. Okay, so here's an example. Film like this, or then eagle eye, whoa, or then maybe from below and then further away. So you always try to move around. And you could even do that with the action shot. So someone writing, you know, someone's writing, but then you can move the camera really close to the pen. Maybe you can hear the writing a little bit. And then maybe you can do an eagle eye shot like this from above of someone maybe signing a contract or whatever it is. And then you do a shot further away, longer distance shot where you actually see someone sitting at the table writing or signing that contract with the pen. Just a few examples, but that's really how you make sure your video comes to life. So those were just a couple of tips. Filming someone, a person, how to become a bit more natural, and also how to film someone. And then secondly, how to film a product or film a location, a situation. And I know we're going to dive into the third part. I really like to talk to you about some apps, some software, anything that you have any questions on. Definitely drop your question in the Q&A, of course. But I'm going to show you, besides Dubb, of course, some of my other favorite apps that I love to use, and I personally use every single day. So let's talk about some apps. I would love to hear what apps you use or software you use. I saw Premiere, Adobe Premiere, come by here in a little while ago. Adobe Rush, yes, Ruben, love Adobe. Canva from yes, love Canva. Resolve, I love DaVinci Resolve. I think you mean Russ, and yes, Final Cut Pro, Hit Express. Ooh, okay, so I see there's a lot of people on computers here. Canva KineMaster, yes, okay, that's an app. Camtasia, I love Camtasia. I've seen it a couple of times now. Dubb, yes. Snagit and Premiere, okay, Audition. All right, let me dive into this. Couple of apps I love to use, okay? So this, of course, depends on the phone you're using, but since we have a mixed group here today, I'll try to keep it very mixed and name apps that are helpful to everyone. So the first app I would highly recommend is Adobe Premiere Rush. I've seen it pass by in the chat a couple of times as well. It's an awesome app. It's very simple. It allows you to edit in layers. And the basic app is free, but it is not available on every phone. It should be, but it isn't. So they claim it is, but it isn't. If it isn't for you, try the app KineMaster. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that okay. KineMaster. I guess I could type it in the chat as well. KineMaster. Rush, I see. Okay, let me type it in the chat as well. KineMaster. That one. It's perfect. Also allows you to edit in layers. You have to pay a fee per month. So I'm not sure how much it is, or you could pay per year, but it's, I think, totally worth it, just a few bucks per month. That's one. Then another one I really love, and especially for social videos. So say you're all about Instagram, or you're really trying to see if you can do more things on Instagram or LinkedIn stories this year, or I saw TikTok come by in the chat. An app I personally really like is InShot. It's a free app. Of course, there are paid options as well, but it's a free app for both iPhone and Android, and it allows you to change the canvas size of your video, so you can change it to square or vertical or horizontal, for example. You can add text. You can add banners. So I love this app. It's my, well, almost my #1 go-to app. I use a lot of different apps, but I love this app. The videos you see on LinkedIn, for example, I mainly create with InShot, but I use 2 apps. So I first use InShot, and then the second app I use is Captions. And this is an app that allows you to automatically caption your videos. It's true. It's really nice. So as you know, most videos online on social are watched without the audio on, right? Especially on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram. So one of the ways to make sure that people actually understand what you're saying is to add captions. Now, in the different apps I just mentioned, of course, you can type along the captions. It's totally fine. You can do that if you feel like doing that. But there's also apps that do this for you. So there's Captions, which I will also type. Mix Captions. Yes. Yes, Jeffrey. Yes, I will. I'll type the apps. So there's Captions. This one is for iPhone. And then there's AutoCap. And this one is for Android. So these are great, 2 amazing apps, I think. So I finish up my video in InShot. So maybe I add some banners, add some text, export the video. So it's on my phone just as a regular video. Then I import it again into Captions. And the app transcribes the video. So it listens to the audio. It will put the words on the screen where they need to be, which is great. And then, of course, I can also change the words. So I can change, maybe capitalize something, or commas, or, you know, my name, for example, it never recognizes really strange name. So there's certain things that you can still change, and then you export in your video is captioned. So these are a few apps I personally really enjoy to use. If you have any questions, as I said, put them in the Q&A. And I can answer them in a little bit. But before I do, I would like to dive into another setup, and that's if you are not filming with your phone, or if you're looking for a little bit more of an advanced setup. So here we go. If you are looking for something that we can talk again about the audio, light, and camera check. You know, that's basic checks for any type of camera you use. But if you have a more advanced camera, with advanced camera, I mean things like, so for example, right now I'm using the Sony a6100. This is a pretty simple camera. It's probably around $400 or $500. And I use this as a webcam. So I've linked this up to my computer using something called Camlink 4K, if you're interested in that, let me know. So I hook this up, and that's why you see me in focus and the background is blurry. It's also called the bokeh effect. And so that's one of the things that I really like about filming with regular cameras instead of phones. As I mentioned, I love filming with my phone. Most of the videos I put online, I would say 98% of the videos I make in general are with my phone. But I do really enjoy the nice professional look that a camera like this can give you. So yeah, so this, you know, that's one option. Another great thing about if you use another camera is that you have more control over lighting. Of course, with a phone, you have some control. Let me show you something that a lot of people don't know. Grab your phone, if you have your phone laying around close to you, grab it. And let's see if you knew this. Would love to hear if you did. Okay, grab your phone, and you probably know this. You probably know that you can tap your screen, right? You can tap your screen for focus. So if you tap your screen, you know for sure that it's in focus and the lighting is just right for that spot you tapped. But did you also know that on most phones, you can also manually change the exposure? So on iPhone, there's that little sun that you can move up or down. And on Android phones, there's a light bulb. Depending on the phone, you either have to move it left or right, or similar to the sun, you move it up or down, and you can change the exposure manually. And another nice little trick that a lot of people are not aware of is you can hold your finger, try to do this, hold your finger for 2 seconds, and it will say locked. Let me know if it works for you, these little lighting tricks. Leave a comment in the chat. But so you will lock the focus and the light for the entire recording, and then you can tap it again, and it's not locked anymore. So that's something that might be helpful to you if you're looking for more lighting options. But yeah, in general, when you use a regular camera, like for example, Juan Carlos, hi, says, I have a Sony EXD broadcast and cinema camera. So he has a lot more options when it comes to, for example, lenses, when it comes to coloring, white balancing. So there's a lot more options there. All right, let's talk about lights now that I mentioned lights. Let me show you the lights in my tiny little home studio. Okay, so currently I'm in my, this is our guest bedroom, and it's also my workroom, and it's also my studio. So we're still building on this, but I want to show you the lights. Okay, so let's see if I can move my camera around. Hopefully nothing will, hopefully this will work. Yeah, it should work just fine. Okay, let's see. There's one light over there. You kind of see it. And then I hope I can show you this one too. Oh, it's too close. Anyway, so that right there is my sun. Since we have no sun here in the Netherlands, at least not right now. That's a softbox. So when it comes to lighting, what you want probably is you want several sources of lighting. So if you are lighting something in the right way, in a professional way, you want to use 3-point lighting. Let me know in the chat if you've heard of 3-point lighting. So 3-point lighting is you want a main light, a key light, which in my case is this big light right there. It's a softbox. So it's high up, just like a sun. Lauren says 3-point lighting is so important. Yes. Then you need a fill light to basically fill up the shadows. So make sure that there's no shadows or not too many shadows. So that light I just showed you is the fill light. And then I don't have it right now, but you can also have a backlight or a hair light, which separates you from the background, or make sure that there's no shadows in the background either. Key fill head, yes, Rudolph. All right, so these are the, the basic, it's a very basic lighting setup. But if you're ever trying to set up a home studio and you're trying to mess with lights and for some reason you just can't get it right, for some reason the shadows just keep messing, make sure that you have 3 lights and just look up 3-point lighting and everything will all of a sudden make a lot more sense to you. So for most of my videos, I don't use all these lights. Right now it's almost 9 p.m. here in the Netherlands, so it's dark outside, and so this is the perfect setup. But normally, so if you check my videos on LinkedIn, by the way, I would love to link with you on LinkedIn. If we aren't linked, let's link. But on my videos on LinkedIn, I post a video almost every day, just sharing some tips. And I usually just use regular daylight. So I'm just in front of my window using something like this. Put it right in front of my window, use regular daylight, and I don't use all these studio lights around me, just so you know that you really don't have to, because the best light really is daylight. All right, so those were a couple of tips for a more advanced setup, I guess. But, okay, I see a question from Ernst on, I think it's Ernst, actually. I think you're Dutch, but I'm not sure. I don't want to assume anything. So yes, Dutch. All right. Any thoughts on a ring light? Yes, I'm going to answer that, and then I'm also ready for the Q&A. I don't know, Ruben or Darius, how you normally do this, but let's first dive into the ring light. I actually have a ring light right over there, but everybody knows what a ring light looks like, right? So it's a ring light.
Yeah, I'm using a ring light right now. If I could show you guys, it's a little ring light positioned right above my camera. You can see it's not nearly as good as Pelpina's, the 3-point lighting, but I mean, it's enough to where I can get my point across, and one side of my face isn't shadowed. That's really the thing, is where the quality is reduced, where you have a ton of lighting or a lack of lighting from one side. That's what really makes it look kind of like you're in a closet or something.
Yes, exactly. No, I love ring lights, and I've used several ring lights. To answer your question, what kind of ring light I can recommend, I can't really recommend any ring light at this point. It's funny because I've tested so many. In fact, I just bought one, and it's still in a box here somewhere just to try it out, but I haven't really found a ring light for phones, right? So I'm talking about a ring light for phones. I have great ring lights that are just, bigger for bigger cameras. But one for my phone that I think is great. If you have the perfect ring light for phones, let me know, because I'm looking for one. So yeah, I don't really have one.
Here's actually a ring light that I use sometimes, which is actually a clip. So
nice.
You just clip this onto your phone like that, and then all of a sudden you have a ring light. So this is just an easy little tool. It's just USB charged. One of the other pro tips that I recommend is to not get into a flow where you have to kind of scramble to plug in your lights. If you have to put them in the closet, or if you have to put them away and then go get them and plug them in, that's a burn. That's a 10, 20-minute burn. And we get stuck on that. We have problems. We plug it in, it falls over, the cat runs over it. So what I recommend is to try to get stuff that's affixed to your desk. Like I have my webcam that's affixed to my desk, so I can move it back and forth. You can do that with a microphone. You can do that with a light. The other thing is that the Alexa app, you can get a smart plug, and you can actually have, Alexa, turn my ring light on, turn my studio lights on. That's actually what I have set up most of the time here. I don't have it set up right now, but just a pro tip there.
Oh, that is nice. I didn't know this about Alexa. That's cool.
Yeah, it's just a smart plug.
Yes. All right. So we shouldn't mention Alexa right now, because then you're gonna have no light here.
Right.
All right. So let's see. Should we move on to the Q&A?
I was going to say, yeah, we got a couple minutes left here before the end of the hour, so we can always go a little bit after it. No biggie.
Yes.
Also, Pelpina, I wanted to make sure you have the option for people that want more help, right? Like, what about for people that that aren't ready to? They're like, okay, you know what? You sound like you have all the tools and tricks here. How can you help me? I don't want to do all the research myself.
Yes, well, that's the great part. I have done all the research for you. Yeah. So this is what I do. I test all these different tools and apps, and I have been creating videos for many, many years. I'm in front of a camera, behind the camera, every single day. So I know a lot of questions and problems you might have. I train people to create videos every day, people who aren't used to filming, people who have filmed before. So yes, I would love to help. In fact, I set up a page on pelpina.com/Dubb for you to check out. So definitely go check out that page with a ton of, there's a free ebook on there with free videos in there on how to interview people, the apps that we talked about, but also some basic tips on audio, light, and camera that we talked about. So go check that out. And if you have any more questions, or if you're looking for coaching, looking to do a workshop, I do workshops online. Next ones are in February. So I would love to welcome you to those, of course, as well.
Yeah, I just copied and pasted the URL. You can just type in pelpina.com/Dubb, but I copied and pasted the URL. That's the full URL.
Perfect.
Or either way, or just pelpina.com/Dubb. That will also work for the URL. So there's a short link.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Okay, so did you have some eyesight on some Q&A here?
Yes, let me.
Yeah, there was one here I think is perfect for you about interviewing. Michael.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Michael Porton had a question. He said, I'd love to know more about interviewing people. any tips to keep it fun and engaging, or visual tricks to make the video appealing? So
Ooh,
kind of a
yes.
multi-part question. I mean, is this one of those ones that we should reach out to you from pelpina@dubb.com? And
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I can give you a few tips. First of all, the best interviewers listen. So they don't just ask questions, they listen. If you really want to have a good interview, you need a good conversation, and you need to be human and listen to what they're saying. And then you'll have an actual conversation that makes for an interesting interview. And having different angles, yes, is very important. Even if you have just one camera, you can still create an interview with different angles. It just means that you have to reshoot some parts of the video, probably of the interviewer, after the interview is done. But yes, I can answer those questions later as well.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap up in just a couple of minutes here. I did want to put out an offer for Dubb. So if you guys have had a chance to sign up for a Dubb account, that's great. If not, please go to dubb.com, grab a free account. No credit card required. It just takes a couple of seconds. And we have a special offer for you guys for attending this webinar, which is Pelpina, and that's going to give you 50% off your first month. So once again, use Pelpina at the checkout. The checkout amount for one user will just be $20. So it's really cheap, but check it out. And if you have any questions, we're going to stick around here in this webinar for as long as Pelpina is willing to go here. So bring on your questions. And thanks again, Pelpina.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Okay. Got a couple more. Let's see what we can get into. So Michael,
yes,
Horton,
let's do this.
definitely reach out for the interviewing process, because there's
yes.
a lot of nuances there that she can definitely support with.
Yes,
okay.
And also in my free ebook, I talk about interviewing, and I show the different shots as well. So
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay, got another one from a local Netherlands, Rick Verart. When do you advise movie-based on or motion animation or realistic images? So like, do you like cartoons or like animation? Do you advise that for any time?
Yes, absolutely. So I do a lot of government and semi-government, and sometimes there's topics that you have to explain, for example, but are not very easy to explain. So explainer videos can be great for animations. So someone who, a quick little voiceover, but then having the animations, because it might not just be a product, it might not be a person who is telling a story, it could just be something that's just not as visual as you really want it to be in a video. Then you can use animations.
Great. So yeah, sounds like a good use case so explainer videos. All right.
Yes, yes.
Lauren wants to know, what is your go-to resource for video inspiration?
Oh, okay. I have a lot of different resources. I mainly am on LinkedIn, and I have a lot of people on LinkedIn who I follow. Let me just name a few. For example, Shay Rowbottom. She is amazing on LinkedIn, does a lot with video. Dancing Diana, she is wonderful. She dances on LinkedIn, and I follow her because she's really herself. But when it comes to knowledge on video, Yusuf Omar, and I'll type his name in the chat actually, Yusuf Omar. He is a journalist who travels around the world, and he teaches journalists how to film and edit with just their phone. And I had the privilege to meet him a couple of years ago when he was in Amsterdam. And he is just such an amazing resource. Someone else I highly recommend to follow is Luria Petrucci. She is a great friend of mine. She does a lot of live streaming and has a ton of ideas and shares a ton of free knowledge and tips on creating videos, but also making live streams, because that's really her thing. And then the last person I'm going to mention, his name is Jeremy Vest, and he's a great friend as well, who lives in, he lives in Texas, and I used to live in Texas. Anyway, he does great things with thumbnails. So when it comes to YouTube and optimization and creating the best thumbnails on YouTube, Jeremy is the go-to guy. So he does a lot of research on that. So I follow him for that specific topic.
Okay. Next ones are
Yes.
you know anything about Mevo? Has anyone used Mevo? And then also, do you suggest 2 cameras, or is it more complex than we need?
Oh, that is a great. So I don't know Meebo, and I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
Uh,
I haven't heard of it either yet. Yep.
Oh, okay. The second part of the question, if I use different cameras, yes, I do sometimes. But the funny thing is, I was just doing this today. I was editing something actually on my computer because this was a more complex edit, for an app. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, I was filming with 2 cameras. So I was using this camera, the Sony a6100, and I was using my iPhone. And I was thinking, well, that makes it a lot easier because then in the edit, I can go back and forth between the different shots. And I've edited 2 videos now, and I've only used the footage from my iPhone. So it depends, I guess. If you have a topic that is not super visual, so there's not a lot of other things going on. So I talked about say dog, see dog, right? So can you show the dog? Can you show something? And if there isn't, then it can be super useful to have extra shots and to have an extra camera there. So you can cut away from the main shot every once in a while, and the video, keeps things a little bit interesting. But if the topic itself is pretty visual, then usually you don't really need to have multiple angles.
Very cool. Very nice explanatory answer. Good. Next one we got is when doing your own video on your phone, do you recommend selfie style or to turn your camera around, like the rear facing camera? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I train a lot of companies in this, and it's funny because I, of course, know a lot of other trainers as well, and we all differ in this. So some trainers will say, no, you have to use this camera, the camera on the back of the phone, because it's better quality, more pixels, and, it's better. And then there's other people like me who say, but you kind of want to see yourself, and you want to see the background, and you want to see how long the video has been running. So I guess the answer is really what you prefer. I personally prefer to film with my selfie camera because it allows me to see what's behind me, if there's anything sticking out of my head, if I'm in the frame okay, and I can also see how long I've been filming. The only thing is, if you film in selfie mode, don't constantly look at your own face, which I also said before, but you really want to look into the camera lens.
Yeah, we've done a ton of kind of experimentation, and with this, I mean, if you try filming with your rear facing camera, it can be pretty difficult. You need like a mirror or somebody else helping you to tell you if you're in frame, and because you just don't know, like you can't see the screen unless, like I said, you have a mirror or a person on the other end saying, okay, go left or right, or they're moving the camera for you to get that perfect frame. Setup is much more difficult when using a video that you can't see yourself. So it's possible, and the quality might be a little better, but it's a lot of work doing it yourself for sure.
Yes, especially if you're by yourself. I would suggest just film in selfie mode, and the quality difference is really not that big, especially on the newer phones.
Great. Yeah, we've noticed that too. I mean, it's 1080 on any of the newer phones. It's HD on both sides. So unless you're filming like something like a movie or a scenery and something, maybe look a little better. The depth of view or whatever would be better on the rear one. But
sure.
Anyways,
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay. Next one. And I think we're coming up to the end here, guys. We're about 10 minutes after. So what's an easy to use green screen remover? That's an interesting question.
Oh, you could even use iMovie. I mean, are you talking about app? I think they're talking about apps, right?
Yeah. I think they're talking about a post edit where you're taking a green screen after out. Yeah.
So iMovie, I don't know if you're an iPhone user, of course, but iMovie, KineMaster, those are both apps. I'm sure Adobe Rush, you can also remove the green screen. I'm not sure actually with Adobe Rush. Maybe someone knows. Premiere definitely does. Yes, Lauren. Yes, absolutely. But if you're talking about apps, then iMovie, KineMaster, and I think Adobe Rush.
Very cool. So yeah, Phil, if you're on an iPhone or have a Mac, then iMovie will either version will have the ability to remove your green screen out of there. You can put some cool images back there. And then, of course, most other video editing apps, like video editing specific apps, will have that option as well. I would assume most do. So
yes, I think so.
All right.
And let's not forget about Zoom for virtual background, because they do have that built into the platform.
There you go.
Yes,
So,
very good.
Yeah, it's kind of an auto green screen. And you could put a picture, or you could do some other videos. And actually, also, this is a feature that Dubb has. Have to throw that in there. So if you do want to get virtual background with a custom image, check out the Dubb website, and you can actually record it directly from your webcam. It does have some specific system requirements. So you have to have kind of a faster CPU, RAM, 8 gigs, sometimes even 16 gigs of RAM, because it is very intensive on the computer. The same applies to, I think Skype is another one that has it. So this applies to all of these. Make sure your tech is good.
Yeah, the graphic processing requirements are a little bit higher than like some other basic things. Like Zoom's really lo-fi. But if we want to go the virtual backgrounds, it does require some extra juice. Okie dokie. Anything else here, guys? We're about to wrap it up. We got one more question. 3, 2, 1.
Final call.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending today, as always. And it sounds like we got a couple deliverables. So Pelpina, we'll coordinate after. You give us your little checklist. We'll put in our email broadcast and some things like that. So thank you guys again so much for attending. We'll also be sending out the promotion code for those in attendance to take advantage of that special offer we have. And of course, if you guys need any support anywhere, anytime, do not hesitate to reach out. Pelpina's here to take care of you, and some video stuff. Rudolph, I know the lighting's not great, right? That's the that's the ring light here. So and that not as good as they're both using the cool fancy lights, like the full setup, and mine is the low pro setup. So you see the difference there. Anyways, we're looking forward to your guys' questions and your successes. So anything you do need, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be sending the replay out with this information. So, all right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks again, everyone. Pelpina, thank you so much for co-hosting this webinar with us. So educational. I learned a lot of things while listening to you. So I will see you, Pelpina, on LinkedIn. I encourage everyone right now to go to LinkedIn, follow Pelpina Tripp, go to all of her social channels, go to Instagram, go to Facebook, YouTube, wherever she is, give her a follow, because her education is so valuable. And if you do need, coaching, additional help, go to her website, check her out. I think the best place to go is just to LinkedIn and send a LinkedIn message.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.